of protein in food is consumed? St. Anthony.
Melon's reagents.
Melon's reagents.
Orally, physically. First, the study of science was chew, pour, pass, and forget.
So as a school, we decided to introduce the science sets.
Organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type? They are addressed by itself. Chlorine is a microplant nutrient.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. So before I start, I want to congratulate you again for coming this far. I know it hasn't been easy, and I hope that all your efforts will be crowned with success. On that note, can we start today's contest? Round 1 of Context 7, Day 4. Are we ready? Can we pay attention to the fundamentals of round 1? So this round consists of questions in biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics, and then of course, ICT. If a school answers a question correctly, 3 points are awarded. If it is incorrectly answered, it becomes available as bonus to the other 2 schools to compete for. The score for bonus is a point. So you have 15 seconds if it's not calculation questions, 40 seconds if it is calculation question. Bonus is available to competing schools by pressing the buzzer. It's very important. Press the buzzer, your name is mentioned, your school is mentioned, and then you answer. Failing to press the buzzer before answering the bonus question nullifies your answer. So whether it's right or wrong, you are disqualified from that bonus. Best of wishes to all schools. Question 1. Question 1 for 40 seconds. So the preamble is, give the square of the following numbers. Give the square of the following numbers. Give the square of the following numbers. Naval Base, JHS, 108. AHENEMBA International.
11,664.
11,664. Super. The next question. ANCHELLE International Complex. 101.
$10,201.
10,201. 10,201. Excellent. AHENEMBA International School. 105.
$11,025.
11,025 is correct. It is correct. Question 2. Question 2. And this is a preamble to all schools. Find the value of x in the following. Find the value of x in the following. So to ANCHELLE International Complex. 3 exponent 2x is equal to 1 on 81.
-2.
-2 is the answer. Thank you. Thank you. AHENEMBA International. 2 exponent 2x is equal to 128.
X is equal to 3.5.
X is equal to 3.5 is right. It is correct. It's getting hotter and hotter. Naval base. 4 exponent 2x minus 1 is equal to 1 on 16.
X is equal to -2.5.
It's wrong. I'm sorry.
X is equals to 3 out of 2.
It is wrong, my dear. ANCHELLE.
Half.
Half is wrong. AHENEMBA.
-1/2.
-1/2 is right. Question 3. Question 3. Preamble to all schools. What are the following keyboard shortcuts used to achieve in word processing? What are the following keyboard shortcuts used to achieve in word processes? In word processes. AHENEMBA International. Control plus backspace.
It is used to clear all selected text.
ANCHELLE.
Delete.
I'm looking for something particular. Yes, can we get the audience? It deletes a full word at a time instead of just a single character. Naval Base Basic School. Naval Base. Control plus home. Bonus. Audience. No one? Yes, please. It goes to the beginning of the document. ANCHELLE. ANCHELLE International Complex. Control plus F.
It's used to find something that you're looking for in the Word document.
It opens the find field. Correct. Naval Base Basic School. Question 4. Naval Base Basic School. What is another name for the trachea? The other name for trachea is?
Voice box.
That
Wind.
is not wind. AHENEMBA.
Windpipe.
Windpipe. ANCHELLE International Complex. What are the tiny hairs that keep mucus and dirt out of your lungs called? The tiny hairs that keep mucus and dirt out of your lungs called?
Villi.
No. You look here, you don't look at the audience. Naval Base.
Cilia.
Celia. 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 I need you to focus here, not on the audience. Here. AHENEMBA International. What is another name for the voice box?
Larynx.
Larynx is correct. Question 5. Question 5. Are we ready? Good. If an element has atomic number 16, how many electrons are there in the valence shell or valence shell? If an element has atomic number 16, how many electrons are there in the valence shell or valence shell? ANCHELLE International.
6.
6 is correct. AHENEMBA International School. If an element has atomic number 12, what will be its main oxidation state in its compounds?
Positive 2.
Positive 2 is correct. Positive 2 is definitely the answer. Naval Base Basic School. Naval Base. An element has atomic number 14. Which group of the periodic table will it belong to? An element has atomic number 14. Which group does it belong to in the periodic table?
Group 4.
Group 4 is the answer. Group 4. Group 4. Group 4 is definitely the answer. We are going on to question 6, and that is a preamble that is going to all schools. So I need your attention. There's a preamble coming up. I need you to pay attention. So the following questions are statements. You are to state whether it's true or false. These questions cannot be passed on as bonuses unless the school does not give an answer. It's true or false. It is not passed on unless the respective school refuses to answer. Then it's competed for by pressing the buzzer. AHENEMBA International School, question 6. Air is a heterogeneous mixture of different gases. True or false?
True.
Can we get it being competed for? The bell. ANCHELLE?
It's false.
It is false. The bell went out and it is considered unanswered. Good. Naval Base Basic School. The components of a compound are separated by chemical methods. Is it true or false?
True.
It is true. It is definitely true. ANCHELLE International Complex. A pure substance is homogeneous in nature. Is it true or is not true?
True.
It is true. A pure substance is definitely homogeneous in nature. Naval base. Cell membrane is a rigid structure. True or false?
False.
It is false. It is false. ANCHELLE International Complex. The basic components of an animal cell are cell wall and cytoplasm. Is it true or false?
False.
It is false. It is definitely false. Our last question, 7, for round 1, goes to AHENEMBA International. The nucleus is present in all living organisms. Is it true or false?
Okay. False.
Yes, it is false. The nucleus is not present in all living organisms. We have the amoeba not presenting with a nucleus. So on that note, we come to the end of round 1.
Living organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type? They are addressed by itself. Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro. That is true.
Reagent used to test for the presence of protein in food is what? St. Anthony.
Melon's reagent.
Melon's reagent.
Rally physically. First, the study of science.
Well. This round has been extremely exciting. And any other interesting word you want to use. And the results reflect same. So before we mention the results, we'd want to acknowledge our partners. That is DEX Technology, E-Learning Center at KNUST, and then of course, IDL. Can we give them a round of applause for partnering us? At the end of round one, at the end of a hot round, round one, naval-based JHS had 10 points. ANCHELLE International School had 19 points. AHENEMBA International had 18 points. When you are in the midst of champions, any small or big move causes a tidal wave. This is the time you want to tighten your seat belts. You don't give up. You don't become complacent. You forge on. Round two. That is the fastest finger round. Round two. Are we ready? So one question will be read out. Contestants will compete to answer first. Each question carries a score of 4 points. Four solid points. When you are ready to respond, please press the buzzer. And on this note, we want to make sure our buzzers are working. AHENEMBA International, ANCHELLE International, and NAVAL International. So we just breathe a bit, and then as you gradually warm yourself up, and then we'll start very soon.
Living organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Never be. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type? The address bar. Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro. That is true.
Reagents used to test for the presence of protein in food is St. Anthony.
Melon's reagents.
Orally, physically. First, the study of science was chew, pour, pass, and forget.
So as a school, we decided to introduce the science sets.
Okay, so I believe that you've cleared all the cobwebs in your mind, on your fingers, of course, and you are ready for action. But before we proceed, we want to acknowledge Ghana Education Service for their partnership since the inception of the Junior Science and Mathematics Quiz. And of course, the College of Science from KNUST. So please remember that before pressing the buzzer, if you answer, you are disqualified. And when you press the buzzer, you answer. Failure to answer, after 3 seconds, you would be disqualified. If you get the question wrong, the remaining 2 schools would compete to answer. End. When you get it wrong, you know that a point is being deducted. Remember that. I wish you all the best and let us roll on. Ready. Question 1. How should 5 resistors of 5 ohms each be connected to achieve the smallest possible resistance in a circuit? Naval base.
Parallel connection.
They should be connected in parallel. Thank you. Question 2. Question number 2. Ready? Good. What is the smallest possible resistance that gives? What is the smallest possible resistance that 5 ohms resistor can have when connected in a circuit? Answer.
5 ohms. 0.5 ohms.
No. My audience is 1. Question 3. Ready? What organelle in the cell produces ATP for the cell?
Mitochondria.
Mitochondria is correct. Number 4. The process by which plants lose water in the form of vapor. AHENEMBA.
Transpiration.
Transpiration. Yes, correct. Number 5. If 24 times 55 times 63 is equal to 83,160, what is 5.5 times 0.63 times 24? Anchelle.
83.16.
83.16 is the answer. Number 6. Question number 6. Essie wants to buy 20 pence
1 cedi 50 pesos.
You are wrong.
1 cedi.
ANCHELLE.
18 Ghana cedis.
You are wrong. NAVAL base.
20 Ghana cedis.
You are terrible. The audience. Yes, sir. No.
90 pesos.
It is 38 Ghana cedis. Number 7. M is equal to R on the root of. So what I'm going to mention next is under the root. 1 minus B. Make B the subject of this equation. AHENEMBA.
R over M squared times 1.
Wrong. Audience, yes, please. B is equal to 1 minus R squared over M squared. Question 8. Ready? Ready? What does the computing acronym GUI?
Graphical user interface.
You are wrong. Come again, sorry.
Graphical user interface.
No, it's correct. So on the conclusion of design end user, which was clarified, we come to the end of round 2.
Organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in a web browser is the URL type? The address by itself. Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro. That is true.
Reagents used to test for the presence of protein in food is called St. Anthony.
Melon's reagents.
Melon.
Orally, physically. First, the study of science was chew, pour, pass, and forget.
So at the school, we decided to introduce the science sets.
Living organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type?
The words, sorry,
The address by itself.
Chlorine is a mic.
So, I am thrilled to announce to you that at the end of round 2, for round 2 only, we had Naval Base coming up with 2 points. ANCHELLE representing this round and establishing their stand with 2 points. And the Royals, the children of Royals, stamping their authority with 10 points. Putting everything together, Naval Base have 12 points, ANCHELLE is 21 points, AHENEMBA 28 points. So we are at the 3rd round, and we'll take a short break as we prepare ourselves. We breathe in and out for the Science and Technology Challenge.
Living organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type?
The words, sorry,
The address by itself.
Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro. That is true.
Reagents used to test for the presence of protein in food is St. Anthony.
Melon's reagents.
Orally, physically. First, the study of science was chew, pour, pass, and forget.
So as a school, we decided to introduce the science sets.
Living organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser?
So, as a science and technology university, we don't just do applied science. We do theory, we do practicals. And so our quizzes reflect same. We are the science and technology round, and is in kind collaboration with Photonics Ghana. Photonics, we are national, we are international. We are all over the world. You can link up with us, and then we will sort you out. I would want contestants to put their equipment down. Put your equipment down until you are told to start, please. Thank you. All right, so round 3. You are ready. Are you ready? Set. Action. Good. One question will be given to all schools. The question in this round will require contestants to perform a task that will be assessed. The score for this round is 15 points. Contestants will be given up to 15 minutes to complete the task. On that note, the preamble is, can we have some silence, please? You have been provided with 3 mirrors labeled M1, M2, and M3. A laser labeled L1 and a screen S1. Tasks. Place the laser and screen at the positions indicated on the sheet provided. Place the compass at point P and construct a circle of radius 8 centimeters. Turn on the laser. Place the mirrors such that the 2 edges of each mirror touch the circumference of the circle. Move the mirrors along the circumference of the circle until a reflection of the laser beam is seen on the screen, S1. Use a pencil to trace the outline of the mirrors and shade the segments formed. Using a ruler, trace the path traveled by the light ray from the laser beam to the screen. Leave your experiment as it is so that the quiz moderator can inspect your final work. Please, it is very important to note that the beam of light to be used in this challenge is the red laser beam. Related questions. After you've performed your task, what property of the light permits it to be bounced around? What property of the mirror makes light bounce off it? Describe the path traveled by the light ray from the laser to the first mirror. What is the shape of the path of light you have drawn within the circle? My contestants, start work.
organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type? The address by itself.
Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro. That is true.
Reagents used to test for the presence of protein in food is St. Anthony.
Melon's reagents.
Orally, physically. First, the study of science was chew, pass, and forget.
So at the school, we decided to introduce the science sets.
Organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type? The address by itself.
Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro. That is true.
Reagents used to test for the presence of protein in food is St. Anthony.
Melon's reagents.
Orally, physically. First, the study of science was chew, pass, and forget.
So at the school, we decided to introduce the science sets.
Organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type? The address by itself.
Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro. That is true.
Reagents used to test for the presence of protein in food is St. Anthony.
Melon's reagents.
Orally, physically. First, the study of science was chew, pass, and forget.
So at the school, we decided to introduce the science sets.
organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type? The address by itself.
Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro. That is true.
Reagent used to test for the presence of protein in food is what? Saint Anthony.
Melon's reagents.
Orally, physically. First, the study of science was chew, pour, pass, and forget.
So as a school, we decided to introduce the science sets.
Organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type? The address by itself.
Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro. That is true.
Reagent used to test for the presence of protein in food is what? Saint Anthony.
Melon's reagents.
Orally, physically. First, the study of science was chew, pour, pass, and forget.
So as a school, we decided to introduce the science sets.
Organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type? The address by itself.
Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro. That is true.
Reagent used to test for the presence of protein in food is what? Saint Anthony.
Melon's reagents.
Orally, physically. First, the study of science was chew, pour, pass, and forget.
So as a school, we decided to introduce the science sets.
organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type?
The words, sorry,
The address by itself.
Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro. That is true.
Reagents used to test for the presence of protein in food is what? St. Anthony.
Melon's reagents.
Orally, physically. First, the study of science was chew, pour, pass, and forget.
So at the school, we decided to introduce the science sets.
Living organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct.
Thank you so much for going through that challenge. And indeed, from your results, which is very challenging, it depicts that you have actually gone through a science and technology challenge. Okay, so your marks. And before I mention your marks, I'd like us to look at the answers. So you were to position 3 mirrors so that the 2 edges touch the circle. So for all the mirrors, you were to make sure that the 2 edges are touching the circle. And then you were to shade. Isn't it? Oh, isn't it? Good. And then you were to make sure that the red laser beam is reflected on your white screen. It wasn't the yellow, it was the red, so that it is reflected. All the 3 mirrors are used together to reflect it onto the white screen. And then you were to show the direction from the laser to the first mirror, M1. So let's see what you did. For getting the diagram correct, for doing a good setup, you are to be given 7 marks. Answering the first question correct, you get 2 marks. The second, you get 2 marks. The third, you get 2 marks. The fourth, you get 2 marks. So in all, we are looking at 15 marks. Okay, so I start with ANCHELLE. 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 So when I look at your diagram, the 2 for the mirror, the mirrors, all of them, the edges were not touching the circle. And you were supposed to shade the 3 mirror touching the circle, that space that was formed. I see one shading somewhere, and then another line put somewhere. In fact, you didn't get it right. But for being able to draw your circle correctly, I give you 0.5 on 7. Question 1. For your question 1, for the question 1 of ANCHELLE, ANCHELLE, ANCHELLE. For the question 1 of ANCHELLE, you got it right. The question 2, you had half, because you were also to state that it's a hard surface. And then question 3, you got it right. On question 4, of course, you didn't get the mirrors well positioned, so you got it wrong. It is a trapezium. It's not a cone. So, you had 5.5. Naval base. I am not too sure what I see here, but you were able to draw the arrow from the laser to the first mirror. You're able to draw your circle, and then you shade it. So for being able to show the arrow, drawing the circle, for the diagram, I gave you 1. Question 1 was right. Question 2, you had it wrong. Question 3 was right. Question 4 was wrong. So in all, NAVAL, you have 5 points. AHENEMBA, the children of royals. You positioned the mirror well. You shaded it well. You showed the line from the laser to the first mirror. You had a good circle, but you didn't get the shape right. And because you didn't get the shape right and you couldn't complete it well, I give you 4/7. You had the first question right, you had the second question wrong, you had the third question wrong, you had the fourth question wrong. So, you get 5.5 over 15. At the end of round 3, so at the end of round 3, we have AHENEMBA and ANCHELLE. We have AHENEMBA and ANCHELLE drawing with 5.5 over 15. And we have NAVAL at 5 points. So cumulatively, let's look at our cumulative score. So where do we all stand? Where are we all standing? Is this safe grounds or shaky grounds? AHENEMBA, you have 33.5 points. Naval Base, so far, you have 17 points. ANCHELLE, I hope I got it right this time. ANCHELLE, you had 26.5 points. So we take a quick break and then we warm up.
Organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval Base, that is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type? The address by itself.
Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro. That is true.
Reagents used to test for the presence of protein in food is St. Anthony.
Melon's reagents.
Rally, physically. First, the study of science was chew, pour, pass, and forget.
So as a school, we decided to introduce the science sets.
Living organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative.
Good. I hope we are ready for the last round. It's do or die. It's Kumasi or Takrade. last round. But before we do that, Ahenema, your points are 34, not 33.5. Round 4. Round 4. Action round. The decider. Where the men are separated from the women. Where the women are separated from the ladies. The men are separated from the boys. Where we get the creme de la creme. We are going to Kumasi. Round 4. The preamble. This round is the riddles round. The question will be read out as a series of clues. If the question is answered on the first clue, you get 6 points. 6 points. 6. If it's answered on the second clue, you get 5 points. 5 points. 5 points. Good. If it's on the third, you get 4 points. If it's on the fourth or subsequent clues, you are getting 3 points. Is that clear? Good. And you are to press your buzzer before attempting to answer the question. Remember, press the buzzer. You are called. You answer. Failure to press the buzzer, whatever you say is not counting, and you are nullified from that question. Please, is that clear? But before we start, we want to be sure that our buzzers are working optimally. So can we get Ahenema with your buzzer? Good. ANCHELLE. Good. NAVAL. Excellent. Round 4. Question 1. Round 4, question 1, riddle. I am gas, but I am not air. I am very light, much lighter than air. NAVAL. Hydrogen. On the second clue. Hydrogen. NAVAL is not playing. They mean business and they are coming with full force. Hey, question 2. Riddle. I am a scalar quantity. I change my position every moment. My siblings or my sibling understands what direction is, while I don't. I made Usain Bolt popular. Ahenema.
Velocity.
No. When I meet with time, I bet distance. Who am I? ANCHELLE.
Length.
No. NAVAL.
Speed.
NAVAL. I told you. NAVAL is coming like Kakai. Full force. Can you stand it, Ahenema? The school whose name is a mouthful. Can you stand it? Good. Question 3. Are you ready? You are super ready. Good. I am a relationship between two species. I am widespread in the animal kingdom. I am a close and persistent biological interaction between an organism and its host. Like predation, I am a type of consumer resource interaction, but unlike predation, I am the marriage between tick and dots. Who am I? Naval.
Parasitism.
Parasitism. Parasitism. Parasitism. Wow. Wow. Parasitism. Parasitism. Super. Excellent. Parasitism. Question 4. Question 4. And I have to remind you, this is the make or break. This is the last question of this tournament. It's do or die. Are you ready to change your fortunes or to go back home and greet your people? Are you ready to meet me in Kumasi or stay in your home? Are you ready? Question 4. Question 4. I am a polygon. I am used for most stop signs. The sum of my interior angles is thrice the sum of my exterior. Each of my interior ANCHELLE.
Triangle.
No. No. Each of my interior angles measures 135 degrees. My regular form has 8 lines of symmetry. Who am I? Naval?
Decagon.
No. Anyone from the audience? Octagon. It is 8. It is 8. It's octagon, not de. De is 10. On this note, on this very exciting, interesting, scintillating note, we've come to the end of this competition.
Organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type? They are addressed by itself.
Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro.
So, to all my contestants, whatever happens, life goes on. And we live to fight another day. Whatever you get, whatever you don't get, it is what it is. Okay, at the end of the whole competition, at the end of the 4th round, whole competition, who is first? Is it AHENEMBA? Is it AHENEMBA? The children of royals. The royal family. Is it the international ANCHELLE name I always find difficult to pronounce? Is it the Navy, the naval base JHS? Who carries the day? Please listen to me and let's be happy together. And then we will cry together. At the end of the contest, interesting times. I am baffled, flabbergasted. At the end of the competition, ANCHELLE had 26.5 points. ANCHELLE had 26.5 points. And the Women Confederation, Beijing Conference Women, the Yasantua women, had 28 points. 28 points. Mr. Henry Yando, Master Abdullahi, Master Henry Ando, Master Abdullahi Brahma. They carried the day. They had 34 points. Can we give them a round of applause? Round of applause. Wonderful. Excellent. Good. Excellent. Thank you so much, my audience. Thank you, my contestants who fought a good fight. And for my AHENEMBA Royal Society who won the race. Thank you very much. See you in Kumasi.
Living organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm organisms need me to live. I am a quantitative property that is transferred to a body. I'm recognizable in the performance of work. I can neither be created nor destroyed. Naval base. That is correct. Where in the web browser is the URL type? The address by itself.
Chlorine is a microplant nutrient. Micro. That is true.
Reagents used to test for the presence of protein in food is what? St. Anthony.
Melon's reagents.
Melon's
Orally, physically. First, the study of science was chew, paw, pass, and forget.
So at the school, we decided to introduce the science sets